I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about why your ex views you differently during no contact.
I do want to remind you before we start to subscribe to the channel if you would like updates on our newest videos.
Yep, and make sure you click that little bell.
Ding ding.
So, one of the things that's so scary about going no contact is how your ex is going to see you, or if they're just going to forget about you. How many times do people say they're going to forget about me?
Right.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
But in our experience, that's not what usually happens. People go through a bunch of different stages and feelings and phases while you're in no contact. So those feelings that they have for you at the time of the breakup, maybe they're angry or cold, they want you to leave them alone, they can change once you go into no contact.
Right. And I know that many of you have heard different tactics on how to manage a breakup, how to repair a relationship, the handwritten letter. We've heard of the clean slate message. There's so many now that I can't even remember them all. But in a
The
lot
scrambler.
of... The scrambler. That's a new one. I don't think I've heard of that.
Yeah, I think it scrambles your brain so you stop thinking about your ex.
I see. We tend to obsess about what our ex thinks about us. You know, we start to wonder, do they view us in a good light, in a bad light? And really, we want our ex to view us differently. You know, we don't want them to view us how they did in the breakup, where they might have viewed us in a very hopeless light, thinking, okay, this relationship really isn't going anywhere. I don't see a future with this partner, whatever it might be.
Maybe they're turned off by your behavior.
So we want them to see us differently, and how we do that really does make a really big difference. And in no contact, that gives you the opportunity to be independent again. It gives you a chance to be back in your element, which really is the most attractive light.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you want to show strength, emotional strength. You want to look like you're going to better yourself after this situation. If you look desperate to them, it's not going to change their view of you. If you're chasing them, if you're not respecting their decision, if you are doing manipulative tactics, contacting their friends and their family, that's not going to allow them to see you differently. That's going to keep that same view of you where it's like, oh, you're a pest. You won't leave me alone. They don't take no for an answer. And there's no attraction in that dynamic. But when you show the strength to leave somebody alone, it allows for some space. That space allows for a lot of different things to happen, both for you and for them. For you, if you're focused on the personal growth, you can figure out the mistakes that you made and learn about the behaviors that can reattract somebody, or how to heal your attachment issues. And for them, they could start to realize that they might be making a mistake, that they can realize that the things that were bothering them weren't so important. Right?
They also get a chance to really process and integrate some of what has happened, you know, the breakup itself. And a lot of those strong emotions that they had felt in the beginning of the relationship, they tend to subside with some time. You know, over time, they're not as angry as they were maybe the day of the breakup or leading up to it. You know, they might not have as much intensity of emotions there. And no contact also gives them the time to go through some of that separation elation, which we talk about here on the channel, which is that thrill of having freedom again after a breakup, them being able to go out and have fun and enjoy their independence and, you know, be able to spend time doing whatever it is that they would like. And so no contact allows them to process, allows them to enjoy some of that freedom outside of the relationship, and gives them really time to look at things very differently.
Yeah, that's a good point, because leading up to the breakup, they probably had been focused on why they were unhappy, how they were planning on leaving for a while, that they thought they were going to be happier without you. So in that moment or leading up to the breakup, they're probably still feeling that way. But as time goes by and no contact, it allows for other things to come up, feelings to change, all the things that you mentioned, and for them to start going from leave me alone to I can't believe they've left me alone.
Right.
Now I'm not hearing from them. Oh my gosh, maybe I'm making a mistake.
Right. And you have to think about some things in your own life that may have angered you in the past. How has time warped the way you see those things? I can go back and think about times in my life. There's a time in particular I'm thinking of where I got a speeding ticket and I decided to fight it in court, and I lost like a sore loser. And in the moment I was furious. I was so upset. I was embarrassed that I had even attempted to fight it in court. And, in the moment I was feeling so intensely. Now we look back at it and we laugh.
Yeah.
So time really does shape the way we view things. And really, in time, you can form a better and well-rounded opinion of whatever it is when it's not clouded by so much emotion.
Good point.
And in the moment, sometimes our emotions can start to dictate our decisions, but throughout time, we get more data just with how things happen in our life. We get time to process and think about things and really review and make better decisions later on. I think about when I watch any kind of true crime documentaries or series, sometimes the way that these directors lay out what happens in those series is so interesting because in the beginning you're like, man, that guy did it. That guy's the perpetrator.
Oh, yeah.
He's the killer. And at the end you realize that it's the guy who rescues the victim or some kind of crazy loophole. And so you don't know that until you get to the end of the documentary. And sometimes they do a really good job of making that person seem like it was the bad guy.
Yeah.
So this is how it can be in relationships too. Sometimes we don't have all the information that we need, and how you respond to a breakup is information to your ex. If you get really angry at them and really hostile or aggressive, or you can't leave them alone, or you're super needy, that's part of the story for them and impacts how they view you. Versus if you're really able to respect them and give them that space, that's part of the information they have on the relationship and how they view you and how they know you as well.
It completely changes the dynamic, and you're no longer like a used car salesman.
Right.
And a side note, I did want to say one of our favorite crime documentaries was The Jinx.
Oh, yes.
We watched it with Margaret, and highly recommend that series. It's on, I think it's on HBO or Max.
Yeah.
So let us know if you watched that one, because we all watched it together.
Yeah,
and we loved it.
But you know how in the middle of it, you don't know all the information, but you're already making assumptions. This person's that and this person's that. And then you're like, whoa, at the end.
Yeah, let's not spoil anything. But that last scene of the last episode will leave your mouth dropped open.
Very
it's pretty
interesting.
crazy. But back to the self-respect. If you're chasing them and you're not able to show strength at that time of the breakup, as time goes by where you're not reaching out, it slowly changes to that feeling of they're annoyed by you, and the idea of you reaching out to, oh wow, they haven't reached out. Maybe I was too mean. Maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I shouldn't have said that to him or her. And they start to go through these different feelings and start to see your value differently.
Oh, yeah.
Now they start to value you more, especially, if you weren't too overboard, right? Because it takes longer. The more you put pressure on them, the longer it takes for them to have that space and need that space to see, wow, okay, maybe this was too intense. That fight was too much. I was too harsh. And I really do miss them.
Right. And if you are bombarding them with messages or reaching out frequently, whatever it might be, it's sending them that message that you don't have other things that are important going on in your life. You don't want to be a placeholder for somebody. You don't want to be a plan B. You don't want to be a safety net. So speaking in terms of self-respect, being able to give them that space and accept the decision, that's you respecting who you are and the value that you bring in relationships. So, think about it in those terms. It could be helpful. Also, They want to know how the story ends. I know we were talking about series earlier, but everybody...
We're not telling you.
Yeah, everybody likes that element of mystery, right? We want to know what happens at the end of a story, and there's that anticipation of, oh man, I wonder how they're doing. I wonder if they're okay. And if we're all honest with ourselves, probably most of us at some point have some curiosity with how our ex's lives ended up. You know, what choices they ended up making, if they ended up doing better for themselves or not, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so this is a part of it too for you. They might view you differently because you also change as time goes on, and they also realize if this person changes, I might not always have a chance with them. Maybe in the beginning they're calling the shots, they're ending the relationship, so they feel like they have a bit of that upper hand.
Yes.
You know, but with time and with space, not hearing from you, having that element of mystery, you know, things can change quite a bit. And if you really think about it, people change dramatically after a breakup.
They can,
Mm-hmm.
if they want to.
Oh yeah, they definitely can.
Mm-hmm.
And so they might have seen you in a certain light during the breakup, but they don't know what your current state is at. And that's part of your responsibility, is to make sure that you're doing okay in your current state, to take care of yourself in your current state.
Thinking that you're leveling up is very painful for them.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I heard just recently from a client that their ex is seeing the changes they're making, how different they are. They're just posting little things here and there on social media, not too much, but they know the family. Mm-hmm. So the ex's family is in contact with him. And so they're hearing little things, and it's making her upset. Mm-hmm. And she's really like bothered that she's losing the version of him that she always wanted. Mm. Do I think she's going to come back? Probably.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. So, because it's already starting. It's already bothering her. And you know, once you plant that seed, it really gets it to you.
Right.
That's why you got to focus on personal growth. Stop just watching the no contact videos. We probably have like 1,000 videos just focused on personal growth. But the no contact videos are the ones that are watched the most. But that's not going to help you grow in no contact and make your ex see you completely different.
Right. And, you know, it's inevitable. Your ex is going to see you differently no matter what. So it's really going to be up to you. We can't control how they view us, but we can control how we decide to change our lives and the choices that we make. And so it's up to you, you know, how you decide to view yourself, how you decide to treat yourself and take care of yourself.
And we can control how we behave in our interactions. Mm-hmm. But when you let your anxiety get the best of you, it's going to make a mess of it really quickly.
Oh yeah. And baseline, you know, you also need to think about your own view of yourself. Do you like yourself? Are you happy with what you have to offer in a relationship? Would you date yourself? Very simple, but very important and profound questions.
Yes. And there's lots of them, especially in the Creative Healing course and the workbooks. So focus on something positive like that every day instead of just the no contact videos, which don't really help you other than through no contact and the initial interactions with your ex. But if you're wanting to get them back and have a great relationship, you got to do some things different. Every situation is different, and every breakup is different. And I say that at the beginning of every video because everything is not cookie cutter. And your situation is going to be very different from just about all the people that are watching the video for so many different little reasons. Mm-hmm. So focus on you and being the best version of you, and you'll always come out on top.
Right. And I'll say self-esteem is something that exudes. I don't know if you're ever around somebody that has really good self-confidence and really good self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a kind of energy that puts you down. In fact, it's the opposite. When you're around that kind of a person, it draws you in too. It makes you feel good about yourself just being around them. And so that's what we're hoping for all of you, is that you have that contagious kind of energy where you're saying, I like myself, I know other people will like me, and I'm curious to see what I can like about others.
And when you meet people that are that confident, you don't forget it.
Yeah.
Like, my daughter is one of the most confident people I know. Honest to God. She talks to anybody every place we go. Super friendly. It's just incredible how high her self-esteem is. Someone else that I know that is very outgoing and friendly, does not care, is Joe from the Impractical Jokers. He's that way all the time with everybody. It's incredible. He is just so friendly to everybody. And just when he meets people and talks to them, it's like this warm energy, like it's an old cousin that he hasn't seen in a few years or something like that. So when you can find people like that with that exude that kind of confidence, it's extremely attractive.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So hopefully you found this one helpful. Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.